The flood situation isn't getting any better in northern Saskatchewan. A large grass fire burns out of control on a Star Blanket Cree Nation. And the cost of coal dominates talk at the legislature.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening. We're getting a clearer picture of the current flood conditions right now in northern Saskatchewan, and it does not seem the rising waters are going away anytime soon.
With the temperatures and the overnight kind of lows above zero right now, we're seeing pretty steady snowmelt. The one thing that might change that is rain. When we get rain and snow, it does make that snowmelt a little bit more rapid. So we're watching those conditions closely.
The Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency adds 18 communities are under local state of emergencies. That is down from the more than 30 communities yesterday. Highways, though, continue to be largely impacted as the ministry has already put up 3 temporary bridges to service collapses across the province. Now, one of the bridge collapses is putting a pause on uranium mining. On Sunday night, Cameco announced it was pausing production activities at its Key Lake Mill and McArthur River mine due to flooding. Last week, the Smoothstone River Bridge collapsed. It's the main route used to transport supplies and people to and from the mine sites. The company says alternate routes have restrictions in place. Cameco does say the Cigar Lake mine continues to operate, but depending on the length of the pause, the 2026 production outlook for the McArthur River Key Lake operation may be impacted. Now, this morning, Premier Scott Moe was on CTV Your Morning Saskatchewan discussing support for flooded areas.
We have the SBSA, Ministry of Highways, a number of other organizations just really out supporting first, making sure the water isn't going into homes or protecting homes to the best degree we can, and then moving on. And we're going to have a lot of roads that we're going to have to work with our municipalities to fix in the months ahead. Yeah.
And if you missed that conversation, you can view the full interview with Premier Moe on our website, ctvnews.ca/Regina. Meanwhile, in southern Saskatchewan, strong winds have reignited a grass fire on a Star Blanket Cree Nation. In an update on social media, the Files Hills Nations Police Service says the blaze actually jumped the road after it reignited and is now spreading. Initially, the blaze was contained late yesterday with a few minor structures destroyed by it. File Hills Police remind residents stay vigilant and be aware of any fires near your home. Avoid areas where firefighters are working and also be prepared to evacuate if it must happen. All right, Sabine joins us now for a first look at weather, and that fire was contained, but the big fuel for it were these high winds that we've been seeing for the last few hours.
Yeah, that's right. Lee, early this afternoon, we saw those wind warnings go into effect for most of southern Saskatchewan. We're expecting to see those winds gusting up to 90 kilometers an hour, if not a little higher than that. And we're still seeing those wind warnings in effect in many parts of southern Saskatchewan heading into this evening. Now, the winds are expected to taper off as we get into later tonight, but that's not the end of the winds. We're expecting to see some strong wind gusts throughout this week, but along with that, we do have some rain on the way, so may hopefully help some dealing with those fires, but may not help those that are dealing with the flooding situation in our province right now as well. We're going to continue to see above seasonal temperatures as well. Today we warmed up to 24 in Regina. The average is about 17, 18 degrees. And even heading into tonight, we're expecting to see warmer than average temperatures for many parts of the province. Right now, we're still seeing many areas still in the 20s, especially in the southeast. That'll continue into tomorrow, but I'll have more details coming up in your full forecast. Lee?
All right, thank you, Sabine. Even without flooding, it could be a challenging year for farmers in Saskatchewan. Cold weather delayed the start of spring seeding for some, and there are significant increases to fuel and fertilizer prices. As Wayne Mantiga tells us, the provincial government says it's too early right now to tell what impact that will have.
It's a late start to spring seeding on the Shakowski family farm outside Regina. They are about 10 days behind schedule.
We started Friday. We got spraying on Thursday, got ahead on spraying, and then started Friday, and it's been a good start.
Farmers are facing added uncertainty this year with higher than anticipated fuel costs.
Yeah, we're feeling the fuel, but in retrospect, fuel's a small part, but every bit counts.
The cost of land and machinery is a bigger issue for many.
other big farms coming in and driving up rent and land prices, and family farms have to compete somehow, so we kind of got to pony up.
Last year produced a record crop in Saskatchewan, with the province hoping for a repeat this year.
If we get some pretty good heat, get that crop established, it can develop a lot in a short period of time.
The NDP believe a conversation is needed with producers about special challenges being faced.
It should be done in an urgent way, and we should be hearing from producers and their organizations now. And we clearly need some actions that are in the interests of producers and this industry.
Farmers say a lot can happen between now and when the crop is in the bin. But with plenty of moisture in the ground in this region, growing season is off to a strong start. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, near Regina.
The provincial government is firing back after Saskatchewan NDP leader Carla Beck called the cost of their coal refurbishment plan staggering. Today, the NDP doubling down, saying the $26 billion that it will cost over the next 25 years to extend the life of the province's coal plants is simply too expensive. The government responding that the cost is actually $2.6 billion, with the NDP calculations including capital, maintenance, and operation costs. Minister of Crown Corporations Jeremy Harrison also added that it is necessary to transition to nuclear energy.
Our bridge to nuclear power generation is to life extend and repower our existing thermal coal fleet. And we've been very clear about that all the way along. That's the central discussion that's occurring right now, because the opposition position is that we should immediately shut down our existing thermal coal fleet.
Harrison going on to say that the government's plan makes sense from an energy security, reliability, and affordability standpoint. Well, delivery drivers from Dragonfly Shipping say dozens of workers were laid off after walking off the job in Saskatoon on Friday. Now the NDP is calling on the province to investigate the workers' allegations. Stacey Hine has the latest.
Delivery drivers for Dragonfly have picketed outside the company's warehouse since Friday, but drivers say about half of the 120 people who walked off the job have been fired.
I have been fired, yeah. On the same day, without any notice, I have been fired. Like, many of my friends got fired on the same day, yeah.
Dragonfly is a major third-party delivery partner for Amazon in Canada, and drivers say as independent contractors, they're paid per package, cover their own vehicle and fuel costs, and have seen pay drop over the last several months.
We've been in a point where we can't afford to work for this rate.
Drivers also allege they're expected to drive in dangerous winter conditions and often don't have time for washroom breaks because of tight delivery schedules.
And we need solution, we need respect. That's only our demand is. We are happy to go back and work.
NDP Labour critic Nathaniel Teed is calling for an investigation into the driver's allegations.
These workers also say that if a package goes missing, if a customer complains, or if they turn down a shift, they face financial penalties or terminations. This is not dignity at work.
Labour Minister Ken Cheveldayoff says he's aware of the driver's concerns.
I'm very concerned when there's an allegation of any aspects of a workplace being unsafe. So I would encourage the members of those groups to contact Occupational Health and Safety.
In a statement to CTV News, Dragonfly said deliveries are handled by independent delivery companies responsible for their own drivers, including pay and employment practices. The company adds its delivery network has allowed operations to continue since Friday. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A 25-year-old man has died after what officials are calling a bear encounter in northern Saskatchewan. The Ministry of Community Safety says it happened near a remote airstrip near Points North Friday evening at about 6:30. The ministry says the bear was euthanized at the scene and then taken to the Western College of Veterinary Medicine in Saskatoon. The Conservation Officer Service and Wildlife Human Attack Response Team are also investigating this. Points North is about 700 kilometers northeast of Saskatoon. A mariachi band is sharing their music and culture with people in Regina in celebration of releasing their very first album. Sierra D'Souza Butts has details.
Luis Alapisco says it took him a year and a half to learn how to play the trumpet.
When we decided to start the mariachi, we were trying to find a trumpet player, someone that knew how to play it, and we couldn't find it. So I went to a pawn shop, bought an old trumpet, and started practicing.
Being part of a mariachi band in Regina has allowed him to share his culture with others, including his son.
Be able to have my kid, because my kid played the violin here, right? So new generations learning about the Mexican music and the importance of mariachi. So that's key. So that makes us feel amazing.
As one of the only mariachi groups in Saskatchewan, the Mariachi Latino Band is sharing their music and Latin culture with people in celebration of releasing their very first album.
We were surprised because when we initially started with this project, we thought it was going to be only for Latino people. And then they invited us to one event. And then we went to that event and people were picking up and they were dancing and singing along and that type of thing.
Going strong for 5 years now, the Mariachi Band first started out in a garage in Regina after Hernandez put out an ad seeing if people wanted to join. Since then, the group of 10 musicians have performed in more than 130 places, playing authentic music with guitars only used for mariachi and outfits directly from Mexico.
One important thing of our music is that it's for everybody. It's not only for Latinos.
Bringing a taste of Latin culture to the prairies and beyond. Sierra D'Souza Buds, CTV News, Regina.
Well, dozens gathered on the weekend to celebrate the King's Birthday Luncheon at the Atlas Hotel. Hosted by the Monarchist League of Canada, South Saskatchewan branch. Former Canadian High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, Ralph Goodale, spoke about King Charles III. In his speech, Goodale discussed his time as Canadian High Commissioner, about the sovereignty of Canada and the importance of our relationship with the U.S.
Just about this time last year, when he came to Canada to open the new session of Parliament following the most recent federal election, and delivered a throne speech, which is in part crafted by the government, but some key parts of it are written by His Majesty himself, including the punchline when he defended the sovereignty of Canada, paid tribute to the true north, strong and free.
Goodale says King Charles III has been invited to Saskatchewan sometime this year for the 150th anniversary of the Treaty 6, signed originally in 1876 between First Nations and the Crown. And in celebratory of World Migratory Bird Day, bird enthusiasts made their way to the Saskatchewan Science Centre on the weekend, welcoming back those birds to Regina. This year's theme, Every Bird Counts, Your Observations Matter. 2 bird tours were held to point out different birds, talking about migration routes, some of the dangers the birds face in their migration journey, and why they choose this habitat for nesting. Popular birds in the area: robins, yellow warblers, white-crowned sparrows, black-capped chickadees, and of course, the prairie's cobra, the geese. Still ahead, all Canadians on board the cruise ship with 3 hantavirus deaths are isolating at home. And a man accused of trying to assassinate President Trump pleads not guilty. Precautionary measures are in place with all Canadian passengers who were on board a cruise ship impacted by a deadly outbreak of the hantavirus or at home isolating. Those possibly exposed on international flights are also being monitored. Heather Wright has the latest.
Most of the roughly 130 passengers aboard the MV Hondius have returned home or are in the process of getting there, including 4 Canadians who arrived in British Columbia after being flown from the Canary Islands on Sunday.
All 4 were and continue to be well and have no symptoms.
BC's top doctor, Bonnie Henry, says while strict isolation protocols were put in place aboard the cruise ship in early May, 2 passengers, an American and a French national, have tested positive for the virus since returning home, reinforcing the need for strict public health protocols during the incubation period.
We are all hoping that the 4 people who are here with us will remain well through this incubation period, but this is exactly why we are taking the precautions and why plans are in place should their conditions change.
Henry says the quarantine clock for the 4 Canadians started yesterday. They will quarantine for 21 days and be monitored for 42, the longest known incubation period for the virus, a rare rodent-borne pathogen that can cause serious illness in humans. 3 3 people have died since the deadly outbreak began aboard the Hondius, with at least 7 confirmed cases and 2 reported cases. More than 20 countries are now working to contain the spread of the virus, including Canada, where at least 10 people are being monitored. Today, Ontario's Minister of Health confirmed a 3rd person is now self-isolating in the province.
We have not seen any indication that they were in close contact and would become symptomatic.
Today, the ship's captain released a video praising the resolve of the passengers and the crew.
And I must commend my crew for the courage and the selfless resolve that they showed time and again in the most difficult moments.
And in a sign of just how quickly things can change, the World Health Organization says the French passenger who began experiencing symptoms on the flight back home is now in hospital in critical condition. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Now, Saskatchewan's chief medical health officer says the province's general risk when it comes to hantavirus is low. The strain that caused that outbreak on a cruise ship different from the one that's occasionally found here.
You see anywhere from 0 to 1 or 2 cases a year, but they can be serious and life-threatening. But the type we see in Saskatchewan does not transmit from person to person. It transmits from rodents to humans, and so people are at risk if they are exposed to deer mice, their droppings, or nesting materials.
Now, this is known as the Andes strain, the one on the cruise ship. Shahab says health officials not aware of any passengers or contacts related to the ship in Saskatchewan. And while the risk is low, he does encourage caution when cleaning cottages, cabins, sheds where rodents may be present by ventilating the space 30 minutes or more before you start cleaning and using wet cleaning methods like mopping. In smaller spaces where ventilation is not possible, Shahab says goggles and a N95 mask should be used. 2 reports are out today that paint a more detailed picture of trips taken by Canadians to the U.S. So we now have a better idea of how businesses and pleasure travel have changed as a result of the trade war set off by Donald Trump. Michael Couture has the numbers for us.
Ottawa's Tulip Festival is a huge draw for tourists. These Montrealers used to take an annual trip to the New England coast, but since Canada-U.S. relations started to wilt, they're traveling domestically instead.
Stay in Canada and spend our money here, rather than encourage the American people who have this silly leader that they've got.
And it seems they're not alone. Researchers from the University of Toronto analyzed Canadian cell phone usage in the U.S. over a period of 2 years and found a median decline of 42%, more than the initial estimates of a 25% decrease. But that did include freight travel and Canadians who have to travel to the U.S. for work.
We think they're taking a lot more meetings at home in Canada on Zoom.
Researchers say it's even more apparent in some industries hit by the trade war.
You're seeing much less travel to places like Grand Rapids, Michigan. That's not a loss of tourist travel. That's a loss of trade-related travel related to the auto industry.
The new numbers from Statistics Canada show a slight uptick in cross-border traffic last month. In April, 1.8 million Canadians made return trips to the U.S. That's up 1.4% compared to the same month in 2025. It's the first time there's been an overall increase since December of 2024.
There will be those that will not travel to the U.S. no matter what, but I'm seeing many that had that attitude at the beginning are now softening and actually traveling now and going there also.
Despite that bump, Stats Canada numbers show when you compare April of this year to April of 2024, before cross-border tensions reignited, travel is down by 30%. Michael Couture, CTV News, Ottawa.
The man accused of attempting to assassinate Donald Trump last month has pleaded not guilty. Prosecutors say Cole Thomas Allen wounded a U.S. Secret Service agent while trying to run through a security checkpoint at the hotel where the April 25th gala took place. The defense has asked for senior Justice Department officials to be disqualified from the case. Allen's lawyers argue there's a conflict of interest because the officials were at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro says her ability to prosecute the case has nothing to do with her being there. And the U.S. has issued new Iran-related sanctions. The punitive measures were announced hours after U.S. President Donald Trump suggested that the ceasefire is hanging by a thread following Tehran's latest peace proposal.
It's
unbelievably weak. I would say I would call it the weakest right now. After reading that piece of garbage they sent us, I didn't even finish reading it. I said, I'm not going to waste my time reading it. I would say it's one of the weakest right now. It's on life support.
Iran wants sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz, an end to the American naval blockade, compensation for war damage, and a guarantee of no further attacks, among other demands. The U.S. had proposed an end to fighting before starting talks on more contentious issues, such as Tehran's nuclear program. Coming up, the Little Theater in Regina celebrates 100 years.
Well, the good news is those wind warnings that I was talking about just moments ago with Lee, they're slowly starting to lift even more. We're still seeing them issued for parts of Regina and the southeast, but we should start to eventually see them lift. Actually, even in Regina now, the wind gusts that we saw up to about 70, close to 75 kilometers an hour, it has come down now. We're currently sitting at 12 degrees with the winds just over 25. They're still gusting up to 40 kilometers an hour, but they will start to continue tapering off as we head into this evening. The rain is continuing to stick around. We'll see it stick around for a little bit more heading into tonight, but should clear before we head into the overnight. And as you can see right there, that those wind warnings are slowly starting to lift. We did have them further in, close to the Maple Creek area. Maple Creek saw them lift much earlier. There was a very short time where all of southern Saskatchewan was under those wind warnings. But as we head into tomorrow, that's where we're going to start to see things much clearer, much calmer compared to today. Sunnier conditions to start your Tuesday, and you can see much of Saskatchewan is going to see clear conditions. That'll continue until we get into late afternoon into the evening, where some more cloud cover starts to roll in. And then by Wednesday, we'll see a little bit more cloud cover. And the temperatures actually, Wednesday is expecting to look like it'll be the warmest day of the week. But by the time we get into the evening, that's where we can start to see that rain arrive in the southwest, coming from the south as well. Maple Creek is expecting to see quite a bit of rain, but we're expecting to see a lot of rain for many parts of Saskatchewan. You can see that large system starts to come from the south, and then eventually we'll see it move over from the west heading into Thursday, and that's rain that we're expecting to see in southern Saskatchewan in particular all day long. So between now and to Wednesday evening, this is what we're looking at. Maple Creek could see up to about 5 millimeters of rain Wednesday, and then as that system continues to build, this is what, as far as I have up to right now, but you can see what we're looking at, that heavy rainfall, especially coming in from the southwest at first. But like I said, we're going to continue to see up to 40 millimeters by midday Thursday. So we're going to continue to see that rain moving in all day Thursday and possibly into Friday morning. More rain returning Saturday. I'll show you that in the 7-day forecast. But heading into tomorrow, we're seeing warmer than average temperatures for much of Saskatchewan. 19 in La Loche, 17 with a mix of sun and cloud for La Ronge, 23 and mainly sunny for Prince Albert. Lloydminster expecting some rain tonight, warming to 23 tomorrow. 24 for North Battleford, mainly sunny, and 23 for Saskatoon. Even our lows a little warmer than seasonal. Saskatoon tonight getting to 7 degrees as a low, 6 for Yorkton. 22 and mainly sunny tomorrow in the southwest. Similar temperatures, 23 sunny Maple Creek and for Swift Current. Rain expected with a slight risk of thunderstorms in the Moose Jaw area tonight. Warming to 24 mainly sunny in the southeast. Same story, 23 degrees mainly sunny for Estevan, Weyburn, and Assiniboia. Again, Weyburn could see there's a risk of some storm activity tonight there and some light rain showers in the Estevan area. For Regina tonight, about 5 degrees, winds up to 40 kilometers an hour, 22 tomorrow, warming up with lots of sunshine and winds staying within that 40 kilometer an hour range. But the winds will be back by Wednesday. Wednesday, though, like I said, expecting to see warmest day of the next 7 days, 26, winds up to 50 kilometers an hour. By Wednesday evening, there is a slight chance we could see up to about 1 to 3 millimeters of rain. By Thursday, winds are picking back up, gusting up to 80 kilometers an hour, so very close to what we were experiencing today, especially in the afternoon. 16 degrees is the expected high, close close to that average range. By Friday, winds are still quite high, up to 65 kilometers an hour, a mix of sun and cloud. Saturday, slight chance we could see some more rain, 1 to 3 millimeters of rain. 15 is the high. Sunday, expecting to see probably another 15 millimeters of rain, if not a little more than that, dropping to 9 degrees is the high. And then by Monday, mostly cloudy, 13 is the expected high. Lee, I was saying before, it's usually around May long weekend we see this kind of weather come through, and that's what's happening now.
Either lots of rain or lots of,
yeah.
You know the other thing.
That's right. We'll stick with the rain, I guess.
Definitely. Thanks, Sabine.
You bet.
One of Canada's longest running community theatre groups marked its centennial on the weekend. Regina Little Theater held a gala featuring highlights from 100 years of performances. Wayne Mantica was there and has more.
Wonderful time. Members of Regina Little Theater took to the stage with a number dating back to when the theater company was formed. Regina Little Theater was created 100 years ago to fill a need in the city.
This was before television. Radio had just become a popular medium, but people still craved live entertainment, and the only live theater you could get at that time was traveling companies. And it was thought, we want more regular, dependable theater that we can get, and if we can put it on ourselves, they figured there was enough talent in the city.
It's the second longest running community theater in Canada. Only Ottawa's has been performing longer. Over the decades, many renowned actors began their careers with Regina Little Theater.
The current most famous one is Tatiana Maslany, who is She-Hulk, you know, and John Vernon, of course, who had an illustrious career in movies and theater. Shirley Douglas, Francis Hyland, Paul Nolan is now doing his 11th Broadway show.
The centennial was marked by a gala at the Regina Performing Arts Centre. Carol Gay Bell has been involved for decades.
So I came out and auditioned for a play in 1958 and got a role. And after that, I just probably did a show every year for years and years and years.
Regina Little Theater is marking its centennial season with repeat performances of shows from the past 100 years as it continues its historic run into the next century. Wayne Mantica, CTV News, Regina.
Still ahead, Riders training camp is underway in Saskatoon. We'll take a look at how much the local players enjoy wearing the green and white. Riders training camp underway in Saskatoon. 98 players looking to impress with several starting spots up for grabs. Hallie Mandrick has more on the local players, some veterans, others getting their first taste of pro football.
Hometown talent is shining as the Saskatchewan Roughriders prepare to defend their Grey Cup championship for the 2026 football season.
It adds a lot to it, and I think it spreads to the guys that aren't from here, and they really learn to understand how important this fan base is to us and how important this game is to Saskatchewan.
Sunday marked the time for veteran players to join the new faces after their week of rookie camp. For those like Carson Sombach, who were born and raised in Saskatchewan, it's also an opportunity to play alongside the team they've spent a lifetime cheering for.
When you're a little kid, it's like that's like the dream. You put that on a piece of paper for what job you want to have in the future. When you're in kindergarten, you write what job you want. You put Saskatchewan Roughrider, right? So just the fact that is actually happening is just a pretty cool experience.
It's a feeling that fellow Regina Rams alumni Jackson Ford remembers well.
And the nerves are there always. It just means you care, right? So, but yeah, no, that first one was it was a grind because like those 4 days of rookie camp, you get pretty much all those reps. And then when the vets come in, you get 1 day to kind of mellow out and get ready to go. And then the legs are heavy for that first day.
Now in his 4th year with the Riders, Ford says playing for his hometown team is something he never takes for granted.
Being a Sask-grown kid and growing up and understanding the fan base that we have here, it just means that much more to us. And we can just, help, we can tell the Americans and stuff about like the culture of Saskatchewan.
Head coach Corey Mace says that local talent makes a big difference both on and off the field.
But to have those guys, from the province of Saskatchewan, you don't have to tell them much to get juiced up or what it means to wear green and white.
For vets like Furland, now in his 6th year with the team he grew up cheering for, this start to the season is something he'll never get tired of.
Never. I don't think it'll ever get old. It feels good to have that support.
Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Well, the anticipation building in Prince Albert with the Raiders earning a split in Everett to start the WHL Championship Series. So the next 3 games played at the Art Hauser Center. Keenan Sorokon has more on the Raiders' chase for the Ed Chenoweth Cup.
The Western Hockey League final is coming back to Prince Albert as an even series. The Everett Silvertips and Prince Albert Raiders exchanged blows over the weekend with the long-anticipated matchup between season-long heavyweights living up to the billing.
Loose in front, and tremendous defensive effort, and a goal!
The Raiders got the better of the Silvertips to start the series on Friday with a 4-2 win at Angel of the Winds Arena in Everett, thanks to this nifty pass from Braden Coots to get the Raiders on the board before potting a power play goal of his own in the second period to give the Raiders a 2-1 lead, before Mikhail Orshilak locked down the potent Silvertips attack with a 39-save performance to seal the win. But Everett wasn't going to get caught off guard twice. Julius Miettinen wouldn't be outdone by Coots. After scoring a goal in Game 1, he followed that up with a goal and 3 assists to power his team to a 6-2 win over the Raiders. PA was able to throw plenty more shots at Everett goaltender Anders Miller, but an empty netter and a last-second goal evened up the series as it shifts back to the Art Hauser Center for the rest of the week. Because of the long travel, games 3, 4, and 5 will be at the Art Hauser Center starting on Tuesday night. Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Prince Albert.
And after losing their first 2 games at the Centennial Cup in Prince Edward Island, scoring just 2 goals in those games, the Flin Flon Bombers already find themselves in must-win territory starting this morning versus the Sudbury Cubs.
Shot, final 30 seconds of play. Bruce from the point. Wintle the save, and they score on the rebound. It's Ewan.
The Bombers' offense exploded in this one. 4 goals in the first, 2 of them by Rhett Ewan. Sudbury did battle back to tie it, but Reed Arbery would score with a second left in the middle frame to regain the lead. Bombers add an empty netter to win 6-4. They will play Truro on Wednesday. A win would clinch a spot in the quarterfinals. Tributes are pouring in for hockey legend Punch McLean. Born in Estevan back in 1932, the renowned coach led the Estevan Bruins to a WHL championship in 1968 and later the new Westminster Bruins to 4 consecutive Memorial Cup finals and back-to-back championships in the late 70s. More than 100 players he coached would go on to careers in the NHL. On Friday, he died in a car crash in northern BC.
I had a nickname for him. I used to call him Dennis the Menace. He was a bit of a mischievous guy, always had that wink going on. He was just a very giving person. He had time for everyone.
You know what, his persona, his wit, his friendliness, when you were talking to him, he made it look like you were the only one in the room.
Last week, fans gathered in New Westminster with McLean, where a campaign was launched to build a stadium in his honor. Ernie Punch McLean was 93 years old. Still ahead, checking out some of the top STEM projects in Saskatchewan.
Welcome back. We're going to take a look at the rural forecast for tomorrow. And just like we were talking about earlier, it's going to be a very sunny day for many parts of this province. And we're also going to see those temperatures climbing back into the 20s. Case in point right here. 21 for Hudson Bay, mainly sunny. Wynyard 20, 21 and mainly sunny for Melfort as well. 22 for Meadow Lake and Spiritwood. 23 for Watrous, Lloydminster, Kindersley. And Outlook warming up to 24 degrees tomorrow. Closer to the southern border, a lot of the same temperatures. 24 for Leader, 23 for Coronach, Assiniboia, Maple Creek, 22 for Rock Glen, Pilot Butte, Lumsden, and Broadview, Carlisle, 25 for Rosetown. Yeah, it's going to be a nice warm day. Winds not as bad as what we were seeing today, but like I said, we're going to see a shift as we head into Wednesday evening. If we take a closer look at Nacum, located about 190 kilometers east of Saskatoon, named after 2 railway contractors, CPR railway contractors, Naismith and Cameron. So I'm not sure if it's Nacum or Nacam. If anyone wants to let me know. 20 degrees is the expected daytime high tomorrow. Nothing but sunshine with the winds up to 35 kilometers an hour.
The incident happened on April 17th, 2026 at around 3:50 in the early morning hours at a business on the 200 block of Victoria Avenue. A man entered the business and threatened to shoot staff if they did not give him cigarettes. The suspect is described as a man about 6 feet tall. He was wearing a black hoodie with the letters HUF on the back with the hood up. He also had a light blue COVID mask, gray sweatpants that hung down exposing red and blue underwear, and black shoes with a red design on the side. If you know who this person is, call Crime Stoppers.
I'm Constable Dana Adams with the Regina Police Service. Crime Stoppers will pay up to $2,000 cash reward for information on this or any other serious crime in Regina. Callers do not have to identify themselves. Calls are not traced or recorded. In Regina, Saskatchewan, and Canada, call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. That's 1-800-222-8477. You can also access our website at www.reginacrimestoppers.ca. Remember, our community suffers when you remain silent. Please report crime.
Crime Stoppers is brought to you by Leak Audiology, helping you live well with better hearing.
Safe Boating Awareness Week kicks off on Saturday this afternoon. An advanced look at some of the safety tools available. A display outside the legislature featured the Amphibious Response Support Unit 1. The group's goal to keep the people of Saskatchewan safe out on the water. They have educational tools such as the Mobile Marine Simulator, where people can try operating a boat, all from the safety of a dry trailer. They also have a new high-tech tool, an unmanned water rescue vehicle.
It is a device which is much like a drone or a UAV, but it's for water use and water rescue use. We can launch it to a person who might be in trouble in the water. We can use a remote control, send that actually over to them. They can grab a hold of it, and with a push of one button, we can bring it back to shore.
The ARSU group encourages everyone to be sober while boating and to wear a life jacket. They say boaters should know where their safety equipment is and how to use it. At the Saskatchewan Science Centre on the weekend, an event showcasing some of Saskatchewan's STEM talent. 25 students took part with ideas in robotics, 3D design, video creation. Also an opportunity for Favor Odewal, a third-year computer engineering technology student at Saskatchewan Polytechnic, to show off his capstone project. In his final semester, he built a 6-legged robot, also known as a hexapod.
Multiple and countless sectors like automation. You might see like robotic arms in factories that's doing all the sorting and that pipelines type of stuff, or robot delivery, or even agriculture, right? To me, robot has countless opportunities for people to apply creative thinking and solutions to.
STEM, of course, stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Rock singer Rob Nash will be in Yorkton to give a concert to the local youth. For 15 years, Rob Nash has been touring Canada to raise awareness to mental health, more specifically to break the silence surrounding self-harm and suicide. His band does not accept money from schools. Instead, they fundraise with local organizations to make each concert happen with hopes that it can save a life. 14 schools from Yorkton and area will attend the concert on Tuesday, which was made possible with fundraising from Nash's team, Sign, and the Yorkton Kinsman Club.
Yeah, we've had now, as of yesterday, we've had 977 students actually pull suicide notes out of their pockets and hand them to us and say, here, I don't need this anymore, and razor blades from people that are self-harming. I know one family that went through a tragedy. They're a big part of supporting us coming here this week. So we see all these breakthroughs happening.
The school year, the Rob Nash projects he has is visiting 7 different communities. And a longtime Yorkton broadcaster, Linus Westberg, has passed away. Westberg was an on-air personality and manager at CKOS and CICC TV in Yorkton for many years. That, of course, the station is now CTV Yorkton. He was inducted into the Yorkton Sports Hall of Fame back in 1996 for his many contributions and coverage of local sports. Farm markets canola street price has gone down $1.70 to $690.43 per ton, while the futures price up more than $15 to $753.10 per ton. Amber durum wheat, $278.59 per ton. Red spring wheat's up $2.71 to $293.47 per ton. Feed barley, $250.88 per ton. Flax is $630.54 per ton. Those prices courtesy of Bunge and Ice Futures Canada. The markets up 61 points. The TSX, the Dow Jones up 95 points, so slightly. The Canadian dollar, it went up 0.03 of a cent to 73.11 cents U.S. On the commodity front, gold up $20.92. West Texas Intermediate crude up $2.71, while Western Canadian Select crude went up slightly, 55 cents. And gas right now in Regina, most places you can find for $1.85.9 cents per liter.
The initial $3 billion will be used to bring a state-of-the-art lighting control system to the airfield. The 30 kilometers of conveyor belt that handles baggage will also be upgraded. The changes will allow Canada's busiest airport to serve up to 65 million passengers a year. In 2023, it served 45 million passengers. The federal government's partnering with TELUS to build a data center project in BC. 2 new facilities will be developed in Vancouver, which will come online in 2029. A center that already exists in Kamloops will be expanded and will be up and running this year. Barrick Mining's reporting a profit that more than tripled from the same period in 2025. It earned $1.6 billion U.S. The Canadian company actually produced less gold, but its revenues boosted by the price of gold. The stock was up today over 9%. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Coming up tonight, we've got the Big Bang Theory, followed by Hockey Fanatics, then Big Bang Theory, double time, then Rookie, then Big Bang again.
I said there'd only be one.
It's almost like a big stack of sandwich of Big Bang Theory.
Triple-decker.
Triple-decker, but quadruple-decker.
You're right.
Okay, 80s music fans, you can go on a journey this fall.
Don't you want to just keep singing? Legendary rock band Journey is bringing their final Frontier tour to Sask Center on September 27th. It's part of the band's farewell tour. They've sold over 48 million albums in the U.S. alone, and their track, Don't Stop Believing, became the top-selling track on iTunes in iTunes history among songs not released in the 21st century. Tickets go on sale at 10 o'clock through Ticketmaster on Friday.
Beetlejuice! Showtime!
Love it. And Beetlejuice the Musical is also coming to Saskatchewan. The show that is billed as an edgy and irreverent Broadway smash hit musical comedy is set to hit the stage at the Connexus Arts Center in Regina, January 23rd and 24th. It will then travel up the highway to TCU Place for January 25th to 27th. The musical is based on Tim Burton's beloved movie that tells the story of a teen whose life gets a little strange when she meets a recently deceased couple and a Beetlejuice, a chaotic and vulgar ghost. Tickets are on sale now.
There you go.
And reaction has been pouring in online after an incredible sight that was caught in Delta, BC.
Okay, so happened on Saturday afternoon after a collision between a BMW and a motorcycle at Scott Road near 72nd Avenue. Just hanging out, the motorcycle.
How?
Witnesses took photos and video, posted to social media. Police spent the afternoon examining the scene and believe speed was a factor. No kidding. The motorbike rider seriously injuries but is expected to survive. The driver of the car was not hurt.
Oh my word.
I like this guy there just staring at it like, yeah, no, it's on the lights.
It's hanging up there.
Yeah, the motorcycle. It's hanging.
4 big bangs tonight, folks.
Was it 4?
Yeah. 1, and then a double, and then another one.
She listens.